It's 2023, which is another episode of Jaws Diet. Uh, Please be sure to like, subscribe, follow, and share all of our posts and our episodes. Um, if you are on Clubhouse, or elsewhere where you can join the conversation, we welcome you to uh, make comments or whatever else, feedback. If you are one of those that's on Clubhouse, whether it's for business reasons or for entertainment reasons, on Clubhouse you can find Jaws Coffee Chat and actually join the conversation while we're live, where you will actually be live with us, as opposed to something like social media where your comment is just posted without being actually in the recording. We welcome everybody. This is a diet called Jaws Diet because I, Jennifer A. Whitaker, aka Jaw, basically made this up by doing research of foods that were free of my 4 allergens as I developed these allergies, which is to gluten, dairy, milk, and egg. So everything we talk about on here and different foods that I will show you, which is one item. Is that me?
I don't know. We seem to be having some connection issues.
Me or you?
I've got the same issue on my screen. I'm not sure whose it is.
Ongoing. So if you have any allergies like I do, you may find this Jaws diet interesting because basically I discovered through experiments that I was allergic to these four allergens, and I had to basically, it was an experiment by getting rid of one of them out of my diet, then the other, and then the other onto the four, and realized that in my case, it's digestive problems that are the reaction to my allergens. So as I continued to get rid of these different ingredients in my daily diet, I realized that certain allergic reactions were settling or easier to manage, or just not having their episodes of the digestive issues. That said, today we have a special guest. Mr. Rio, how do you say your first name?
The first name is Nachiket.
Nachiket.
You can call me Nachos as well, no problem.
Call you what? What's easier?
You can call me Nachos.
Nachos.
Nachos. Nachos. Okay, everybody, we have our special guest, Nachos Rao. He is going to take it away and start talking about what's Indian culture-based foods that's already free of gluten, dairy, milk, and egg. Mr. Nachos, what's some delicious Indian foods that are free of these allergens? Would you tell us about them? Maybe even some information on how to cook them for listeners?
Sure. Jennifer, first of all, let us understand what is this Indian food all about. This food dates back at least 10,000 years ago. Okay. This food which we eat were actually prescription for your human system. It was considered as that because food is life-making material. Now, what you're talking about, gluten-free, eggs-free, the non-dairy products, these are prescriptions which were given to certain kind of people who were in a certain kind of spiritual path. If they were a warrior class, there was a different kind of food which was given. Okay. And if they were in a business, there was a different kind of prescription food which was given to them. Now, what this means is
Do
that
you
you
mean
eat.
that the quote prescription was based on their career?
Yes,
Interesting. Was
based
there
on
any
the career.
science to prove that people in different careers had different dietary needs?
Well, I don't have the science, I don't have the record for that, but there are articles which have been published. That's what I heard. That there are prescription foods which were given by ancient doctors and ancient the spiritual masters for a specific kind of purpose. That is there. That is how it was actually followed. A warrior person will have a certain kind of food because he wants a lot of kind of aggression in him. So he used to eat a certain kind of food to get that aggression. Okay, and if it is on a spiritual path, he doesn't want that kind of aggression, so he eats a certain kind of food so that that particular aggression doesn't come into his human system. So there are different kinds of prescription given. Now what you call as non-dairy, non eggs and non-gluten food is actually called as sattvic food. The spelling is sativk, sattvic food. These are the foods which are prescription given by ancient rishis for spiritual progress. Now, these includes all kind of raw vegetables, raw fruits, or semi-cooked vegetables, your rice, your millets. It doesn't include wheat. It includes all kind of millets. It includes all kind of rice. It is, especially in your language, I would say it as, blanched and grilled vegetables associated with some rice or associated with some millets. That's what does non-dairy and non kind of without eggs or meat. That's the food which is being offered for spiritual progress.
That sounds good. I can tell you some of my favorite Indian food, or at least I think it's Indian because the restaurant claims to be, is it called pakoras?
Hmm.
Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like basically fried vegetables. Pakora, I think it's called. It's in a chickpea flour, so it's free of all of our allergens, but it's still deliciously fried.
That the one which you're referring to is actually nothing but a snack. Pakodas can be made of various kind of vegetables. You can take any kind of vegetables and make a pakoda out of it. It's nothing but fritters. All right, you can call it as onion fritters, you can call it as potato fritters, you can even make mixed vegetable fritters, you can even make your chicken or meat fritters as well. Even that's also can be made.
True, and because you can basically fry anything, but you're saying that this chickpea base or flour. So what holds it together? Because like that's my favorite dessert, or really, it's when I get to my favorite restaurant, it's the appetizer.
Mhm.
But I get some kind of usually it's lamb with like tomato sauce of some sort or some kind of red sauce
Mhm.
that's over rice. I can't tell you the name because I don't know how to pronounce it, but you know what dish I'm talking about?
I
So
understand
it's
what you're
the
talking about.
what's it called?
I think you're talking about red color, the kind of sauce and lamb. That's something but mutton rogan gosh.
Okay, so you how would you simplify the name of that in the English language?
Okay. If you're talking about sauces, that's actually North Indian dish. All right. There are three different types of sauces. One is red sauce, one is white sauce, and one is yellow sauce or brown sauce. You can make different kinds
Right,
of
so this is
sauces.
the red sauce. I thought it was tomato,
Okay.
but it's the red sauce
Got it.
that has chunks of lamb inside of it, and the lamb is grilled before it's mixed into the sauce, and then that like package that has a bunch of chunks of lamb inside of the red sauce is poured on top of rice, but it's that certain Indian rice. It's not like American rice.
That's basmati rice which you're talking about.
Yes, there you go. Now I know that word. So,
So
like,
you have
what's a simple
eaten.
word
So what you
for
eat?
that dish in the English language?
Describing the dish in English language is a bit difficult for me because that's nothing but mutton rogan josh. Okay, rogan josh. Sorry, and that is a tomato based gravy where you barbecue your lamb, or some people they don't even barbecue that. They just cook that lamb along with the sauce of that red color sauce. That's what it is, and they add lot of masalas like your coriander powder, jeera powder, cumin powder, coriander powder, salt. They add so many things into it, and then they make a gravy out of it, and you have it along with the rice.
So, do you know how to make it?
Well, I do not know how to make that because I'm not a chef.
Okay.
I'm a service guy, and I'm vegetarian as well,
But
so
you
I
do know
really don't know how
that
to make that.
that's, would you say, in your opinion, that that is a great option for people with our my allergies? Like you
If you're
got your
having any kind of
sauce, which is
allergy,
the vegetables. You got your lamb, that's the meat. You got your carb.
look, if you're having any kind of allergies, then I would recommend not to have any kind of non-vegetarian food. Okay, don't have any kind of dairy food as well. The best thing is to have vegetables, fresh fruits, nuts, any kind of I would say semi-cooked food is good for you, especially vegetarian food, along with either some rice or some millets, or even your corn flour. You make bread out of it, and then you can have that as well. Because I'll tell you why. First of all, let us understand what an allergy is. Allergy is nothing but your body is reacting against a particular product which is coming into your system, right? Let's say you're allergic to carrots. Now your body is confused, and it thinks that carrot is a threat for your body, but actually carrot is not a threat for your body, right? It actually
Right. It's a
nourishes you.
reaction. It's a
Yeah,
reaction where it detects danger when it's not really danger.
exactly. So why it happens is because it is all chronic. Sometimes you get all this kind of chronic diseases, like you got your pain just for no reason. You got your pain over here. The reason why it happens is because your system, especially your energy system, is not aligned to that particular process. So what happens is, if you eat too much of meat, your body gets confused a lot. Okay, now when your body gets confused, it'll actually unfolds your allergies in a much higher level. So it's best not to eat any kind of meat if you're having any kind of allergies.
It's interesting that you say that because this weekend I was at an autism awareness program
Mm-hmm.
where we were doing fundraisers for an autism foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a big hit for me because, I'm sure we've told you before that I have Asperger's, so I'm on the spectrum as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I was there and it was an outdoor trade show. So here I had this little tent set up and then 3 tables with different products that we were selling, with some being my books. Anyways, and so since we're outdoors and there was the wind gusting almost all the time at give or take 10 to 15 miles an hour, and it was coming in directly towards my face
Mm-hmm.
based on which direction I was sitting. And my eyes were watering. My sinuses were rotating between being stuffy and being runny. And anyways, I haven't actually had at one of these trade shows that bad of a reaction to. Do you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So I haven't had that bad of a reaction to environmental allergies. And I don't know how long, to where I got my eyes watering and all. And even there was one of our customers that said she thought I was high because my eyes were just bloodshot red. And she said,
Mm-hmm.
"Oh, well, your eyes are bloodshot red, and you're just sitting over here in the corner by yourself, not talking to anybody." And I'm like, I'm talking to so many people. I mean, yeah, I'm quote sitting in the corner, but I am talking to so many people. All these different shoppers and customers, and doing playing register. While my best friend, the other Jen, is being more like the sales agent or sales associate, attending the customers, and we were, teaming up. Um, anyways, it's so basically that was a more extreme sensitivity and or reaction to the allergens that were in the air of, here it's springtime, a lot of stuff blooming. But the springtime is usually when I go to the most trade shows, and I haven't had, these outdoor trade shows, and I haven't had this kind of reaction. But then
Right.
there's connecting it to what you said, which is that also in March, I saw a new nephrologist, which is for my low sodium condition,
Mhm.
and he had me increase my protein intake as far as meat from to be instead of just a minimal of 81 grams of protein per day to be
Mhm.
somewhere in the middle or in between 81 milligrams of protein a day and 120. So none I was outside in the Houston heat,
Right.
that I tried to get closer to that 120 to prevent my sodium from dropping. And anyways, there it was, like what you're talking about, that I had more sensitivity to the environmental allergens.
Look, I too had certain kind of allergies to certain kind of vegetables. The main prominent was one was that brinjals, or in your language it's also called as eggplants. Right here we call them as brinjals, and you guys call it as eggplants. I couldn't handle it at all. My body would start to sweat. I had a lot of itches in my entire body, so that allergy was there. I did certain things with my own system. I do something called as Kriya Yoga. So I've did that and it just went by. Now there is no allergy whatsoever. Now why it is happening is because it's all chronic. It's not that we got an infection from somewhere outside and then we got this kind of allergy. No, it's just within us. So we can rectify this kind of allergies within our system provided we pay certain attention to it. Obviously, diet also helped me, and the kind of diet which I have is nothing but sattvic diet. Now, what does the word sattvic mean? Is it's closer to God. Okay, in a very rudimentary way, if I want to say, the food which is closer to God is called a sattvic diet. This is in a very rudimentary way to understand. But what it contains is all your fresh fruits, nuts, vegetables, rice, wheat, millets, pulses, legumes. These are the ones
Is
which
it
is
what
called
the
a sattvic
Americans
diet.
is it what the Americans call organic?
See, the I don't know what organic the word organic mean in terms of American this thing, because I'm not aware of that, because this is
It
anyways
basically
organic.
means it's not processed. Like we would not eat cereal because cereal is processed.
Exactly. Then it might be, because I do not know in what context you're telling organic as, because here when we say organic it means that we never use any kind of pesticides or chemical fertilizers. We use
So
natural
that is
fertilizer.
true. That is true, but it also is inclusive of it's not processed or man produced with say
Mhm.
manufacturing or something else that cannot be naturally grown
Yes.
or raised like meat and stuff like that.
Yes. So I would suggest that what you're saying organic, it may be true when you say that it is not a processed food. You guys may call it organic, that's fine. But here when we say organic, it means that uh, it is completely fertilizer free, chemical fertilizer. Not I'm not talking about the natural fertilizer, which especially a cow dung is a very good fertilizer which we use in the land while plowing the land or while tilling the land. But
That is
we
true
don't
of
use any
American as
kind of,
well.
sorry.
Just so listeners will know that is true of the American definition of organic as well.
Okay, okay. So we, when you talk about sattvic food, we never include any kind of your Kellogg's cornflakes or morning breakfast cereals. We don't use all those things. It is always fresh food. And when you cook food, it should not be kept more than 1.5 hours of time. You must consume it within 1.5 hours of time. Now, what happens if you start keeping it after 1.5 hours time? It will start to develop, lethargy in the food. That same lethargy will come into your system. So this is what is called as sattvic. We never keep the food for more than 1.5 hours of time. Whatever we cook, we
In
eat
one
it
and a
and
half
we finish
hours.
it off. Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Did you say you don't keep the food for more than 1.5 hour?
Yes, anything which is
Okay.
cooked, we don't keep it more than 1.5 hours of time. And the moment you start keeping more than 1.5 hours of time, what happens to the food is it will become poisonous in one way, if I want to say, but unfortunately, you will not die. That's a different issue. but it turns to be poisonous. Now, when I say poison, it doesn't mean that you will die in that. It's not harmful for your body. I'm not saying that way. What I'm trying to say is when any kind of lethargy is poisonous for your system, right? Let's say you want to go somewhere, you need to have full of energy and you should be bubbly all the time, right? 24 hours a day.
Right.
That's what the aim of the any human being is, correct? But if you eat any kind of food which is cooked for more than 1.5 hours or more than 2 hours, which is kept cooked and kept, it will start to form something called as lethargy in the food. So that lethargy will go into your system and your system will naturally slow down. Now, once you start eating these kind of food, now you start drinking coffee, you start drinking tea, all those things will happen, right? Now, if you eat sattvic food, you will come out of your tea and coffee as well. You don't need tea or coffee as well.
Are you saying that this process is why people like Americans crave so much coffee?
I stayed in USA for 6 months. Every hour they need at least this big mug of coffee.
Well, I don't believe that's exaggerated. I'm pretty sure that's true. But I'm asking if you're saying there's a correlation.
See, first of all, let us understand what a coffee does to you. Coffee is nothing but caffeine, right? It'll actually boost
Well,
your
the doctors
neurological
in the
system.
West say that they prove that it's full of antioxidants and other things that are good for us. That it's why it's good for us, with the exception of the caffeine. We just want to encourage us if we're going to drink coffee to drink decaf.
Okay, it is good for. It's got a lot of antioxidant. It's good for your system. It's just a propaganda which the sellers will actually do. But for your human system, coffee is not a great product. If
Okay.
if you want to be 24 hours bubbly, you want to be 24 hours joyful, if you want a heightened sense of perception, if you want all your five senses to be super active and super alert, coffee and tea is not good for your system. Especially people who are in
Isn't
the
that
spiritual
assuming
path,
that?
they don't
Isn't that
drink tea or
assuming?
coffee.
Isn't that assuming that the tea is regular as opposed to like I drink chamomile, which I'm sure you know is a very relaxing kind of tea.
I'm not sure about the tea which you're talking about, but generally the tea which we get is, especially the ones which you get in India, what they do is they boil the hell out of it and then they add milk and then they drink it. Okay, that is definitely not good. Now, if you're drinking some placebo, something like flower tea or something, that's not a tea. Tea is the one which has got the leaf tea, which has got caffeine in it. That's tea, and that is not
Right.
good
So
for
in
your system.
America we have stuff that we call tea that's like herbal tea, which means it's made from say different, like some are made from roses, some are made from lavender, some are made from chamomile, some may be made from lemon peelings, and all these others that are called herbal teas because they're made from different natural herbs, or stuff that can be grown, but they're not made from tea leaves. So I could see your technicality there. Versus what I was talking about is what is herbal stuff like lavender, chamomile, and all that puts people to sleep. So what do you think about those? That in the case that it doesn't have the um, caffeine, but it's still a tea.
Got it. There is something called as, it's an ancient science of medicine. It is called as Ayurveda here in India. It is much, much, much old than at least more than 10,000 years. So
Wow.
in that they do something called as kashaya, or it's nothing but a concoction of liquid, nothing but your herbal concoction of liquid. They use all kind of herbs, they use jaggery, they use different kinds of material. That's what you're referring to, and that is really good for your health. That acts as a medicine for your system. But you should
Okay.
know, but there is a small hint and catch in this. You should know exactly what herbs you should take or consume for your system. You can't just like pop in certain kind of herbs and think that it'll make good for your human system. No, it doesn't work that way. You
Well,
should know
see,
exactly what herbs are good for your system.
why I thought that chamomile and lavender, these calming ones that supposedly help put people to sleep, was good because I have anxiety and migraines and other things that are overactivity in the brain. So if it calms the brain, and I have different things where my brain is too active, it sounds like, yes, it's food, but it's also a supplement in the sense that it's something natural that can calm it as opposed to going on medication, right?
Mhm. Look, if your doctor is saying you to take a particular prescription of a certain kind of herbal tea, then go ahead and take it. If it reduces your anxiety, that's nothing like it. But to reduce an anxiety, you don't need any kind of herbal tea. It doesn't make much of a difference. Now, first of all, what is an anxiety? Let us understand this. It is nothing but your system is not equipped to take some kind of pressure on your this thing, or let's say a work pressure, let's say a physical pressure. Your system is not equipped for that. Now, if you check your breathing, when you have an anxiety, your breath will start to increase. Correct? Naturally,
Right.
your blood pressure will also increase. Now, if you literally check your breath, when I say one breath, it is one inhalation, one exhalation. That's one breath. In a minute, how many breaths you take? It'll be at least 8 to 10 breaths in a minute, right?
I
I
totally
take
agree
only
with that,
few breaths.
but I never actually counted mine.
A lot of people don't count that, but generally it'll be only 8 to 10 breaths. Some people go at least 15. That's horrific way to live. If you look at my breath, there's only 4 breaths. Now, when you have 4 breaths in a minute, your anxiety level will naturally come down.
Oh, so you're talking about taking those very slow, deep breaths in?
I'm not even talking about slow deep breaths. I'm talking when you're just sitting and relaxed, you just
Oh,
natural breath. It's not you're not trying to make forcefully. You're just taking 4 breaths, controlling your breath. No, no, no. It's a natural 4 breaths in a minute. Now, if you really check my blood pressure, it is anywhere between 70 to 72 beats per minute. Why? Because one is a diet, the kind of food which I eat. Second is the kind of yoga and the kriya yoga which I do that actually slows down your metabolism. Your RPM, when I say RPM, it's rounds per minute, is much lower than what it
right.
is for the other people. So naturally, your breath will get reduced. And
Do you
when your
see
breath reduces,
any of that slower breathing related to being physically active? Because so many
not,
Americans
look,
are very
look,
sedentary, like being sit around. But like I'm
yeah.
one of those that I have a gym membership and I work out anywhere from 4 to 6 days a week.
Mhm. Now, I'm not talking about the breaths when you're jogging or when you're lifting weights. When you're lifting weights, when you're
No, I don't
jogging,
like that, but I mean, people that do work out, do you find that their breathing slows down when they're not working out?
see, let us understand what exactly working out means. When you go to a gym, you lift weights, you run around in a treadmill, right? That's what is
Yeah.
work. Now, in ancient yogic system, there is something called as Anga Mardana. Now, the word Anga and Mardana means Anga means limbs, your limbs of your body. Mardana means to break it. Okay, this is approximately a 40 minutes process where you need only 6 by 6 feet of space and your body. You just work out with this, nothing else. Now, what happens when you work out with this? You will become a more flexible person. One, second, you'll have a good toned body. Let's say you want to climb a mountain, not a problem. Let's say you want to simply sit and just quietly, you just want to simply sit, not a problem. You want to go and do something, some other odd jobs, not a problem. Your body will not be an issue for you. This is how workout is in yogic system. The concept of gym has come. Why? Because machines have come into our picture, in our daily lives, which does most of our work, right? Let's say you have a crane which is lifting, hundreds of tons of weight. Earlier, you used to use your muscle, right? Long time back, before
Right.
cranes were there, you used to use your muscle. Now you're using cranes. Now, where is the scope for you to go and work out? Earlier, people used to go and work out in those times. Now you need gyms. But even in gymming, if you don't do the exercise in the right way, it's of no use. People think gymming means putting on heavy bulky muscles and all this kind of strength training, all these kind of things, but that actually is harming the system. It's not creating any good for you. That's what it is. So naturally your anxiety levels will go up.
You mean when we're more active during the gym, anxiety will go up?
I'm not saying if you're active throughout the gym, your anxiety will go up. That's not what I mean. What I mean is lifting weights unnecessary, which is not required for the human system, your body anxiety levels will go up. That's what I'm trying to
So
say.
you're saying, in other words, if we try to, let's say we're lifting weights and we lift more than we actually should.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay. So going back to the food, did you have any more ideas of food that's like how I mentioned the pakora, I think you pronounce it, and other things like that? Did you have any more ideas of allergen-free food, free of dairy, dairy, gluten, soy, and egg that are good Indian recipes?
See, Indian recipes are filled with different kinds of cuisines, and because it has been a cultural, it's like nothing but a cocktail of cultures. So if you're talking about only this thing, dairy, gluten free, no eggs, no meat, then it's all about salads. It's all about fresh fruits. It's all about nuts. In southern part of India,
There's
we
nothing
do
wrong with
something called
meat.
as
There's nothing wrong with meat. It's dairy, gluten, soy, and egg.
okay,
So is that we have allergies to those four things? It's not that we're vegans.
got it. So let's say in India, what I would say is that you can have a lot of curries, which doesn't have any kind of uh, dairy products. You can always request the chefs not to use any kind of dairy products. Especially your biryani has got a lot of dairy products. They use yogurt in that. That's one thing you should not have. But if you really want to have food which is not having any dairy, gluten free, then it is basic curries with red sauce. You can add up meats, you can add up veggies in that. It's a very versatile food. That's North Indian food. If you come back to southern part of India, they have something called as stews. Okay, in American language they call it a stew, but here we call it a sambar. Sambar is made with vegetables. You can also add meat in that. You can pressure cook that, and then you can make a sambar out of it, and you can just have it off along with rice, or along with millets, especially like millets like ragi, jowar. These are the ones which are really good for your health. And in fact, if you eat ragi, about a pound of ragi, that should sustain you for the entire day.
And what is ragi?
How do I explain ragi to you? It's nothing but a millet.
Can you say some of the ingredients? Like, is it like soup where it's liquid, or is it like vegetable based, or
It is they are a family of millets. They are not like a vegetable. They are not vegetables. They're just a family of millets. If you can Google what is millets, you'll come to know. Ragi is actually brown in color, and that is very healthy for you. It's got a lot of calcium in it, a lot of iron, a lot of phosphorus, all kinds of micronutrients in it. What we do out of it
okay?
in ragi is that they boil the ragi and they make a lump out of it, and then they swallow that small lumps of ragi. You can also make a soup out of it, and then you can drink it as well.
Will you spell that word, the ragi, so listeners can look it up if they're curious?
Ragi.
Okay, thank you. Did you have any other ideas?
That's all it is. If you want to have something without any
Okay,
kind of gluten
that's
and all.
great. How about in the last few minutes, what will you let listeners know what you do and a way to contact you
Well,
if
what
they're
I do is
interested?
yeah, what I do is I teach etiquette to people. I also teach different kinds of personality to people, what they are with, what are the conditioning of the this thing, psychological conditioning is. I have a systematic process where in about 10 weeks I take them through a systematic process for personality development. And apart from that, I also teach people dining etiquettes, basically how to dine for different cultures and different occasions, how you're supposed to sit, stand, talk, walk. So all those seems to be addressed. And I'm available through email or through website or even through LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and even they can give me a phone call as well through WhatsApp. So these are the places where I'm available. Now, if you want my email address, it is NACHIKETRAOAK@gmail.com. This is my email address, and my official email address is etiquette by Nachiket@gmail.com. These are my two email addresses.
Okay, and do you have a website, or would you like to share the phone number that someone can, let's say, text you or call you through WhatsApp?
Sure. My phone number would be +91 8431340037. This is my first phone number. My second phone number would be +91 8147763700. These are my two phone numbers, and both in both the phone numbers there are WhatsApp, so you can contact me through WhatsApp as well. And my
Okay.
website is educatebynachiket.com.
Would you
Nachiket
spell that
spelling
out?
will be
Educate by, and then spell.
Nachiket will be NACHIKET.
So educate by Nachiket dot what?
.com.
.com. Okay. Does anybody have any announcements? EJ, are you with us?
I am.
Would you want to make any announcements about who you are and your company with your contact information?
Sure. My name is Elizabeth Overkirsch, otherwise known as EJ. My company is Oh My VA Admin Services. I'm a virtual assistant. So if you need a hand, just think, oh, my VA can do that, because virtually anything is possible.
And then they should reach you. What's your website or phone number where they should reach you if they're interested?
Sure, they can give me a call at 919-842-6751 or send me an email at virtualassistant@ohmyva.com.
And then I have, so thank you, EJ and Nachiket. And then I was going to give some announcements. And if anybody's interested in being part of my Bible study, it's led by Lady Kendra, who is our Bible study teacher, where you can join by looking up or going on the internet to Aspire Women for Excellence, ASPIRE Women, FOR, Excellence.com. And there you can find different events and everything from Bible studies to entrepreneur networking, coffee chats where we're socializing and while studying the Bible, and many other things that are for women of faith, or in other words, Christian women that want to somehow get involved with other Christian women in ways related to both spiritual and business. And if you're on the right page, you should see Lady Kendra. It's a picture of a young female in her 20s. And also, we are part of Jim's Books and More that you can find. Look up more information. Check out our website, books that we've written or that our other guests have written. and or we have written with our clients. That's JENNS books ANDMORE.com. You can also look up books, like if you go on Google, books by Jennifer A. WHITAKER, and you'll find our social media pages plus our page on Amazon where there's all of our books and anyway some other information related to us. You can also look up on Google Jaws Coffee Chat. If you see multiple ones, look for one that has Jennifer A. Whitaker in it, and you most time when we're online like this, you will see my name in the bottom of the screen. I don't know, but anyways, you've seen this, you know who I am, at least by my face and how I look. But please go on, LinkedIn or Facebook and look up Jaws Coffee Chat, JAWS Coffee Chat, and like or subscribe to our channel. You can also find us on YouTube, and you can also like or subscribe to our channel on your favorite podcast apps such as Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and so many others. But however you found us, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share our posts as well as our episodes. If you're interested in being on our show as a guest speaker like Mr. Rao, please inquire and let us know by emailing jawscoffeechat@gmail.com. That's JAWS coffeechat@gmail.com. You can also email us there if you're interested in co-ownership as a digital marketer or any other jobs that we have mentioned in our recent podcast to inquire about them. That's JAWS coffeechat@gmail.com. And back to you, EJ.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. We'd like to give special thanks to those that are rebroadcasting our podcast, specifically Lawrence. I can't think of it now. I don't have my script. Lawrence Wingate with Wingate TV and
Wingate Studios.
Wingate Studios. The Disability Channel with Jay Stoyan. I'm doing horrible today. I'm so sorry.
Miss Comedian to life.
We'd also like to thank Marcus Hart with
Transform You
Media. And all of those who are listening to us. We appreciate your attendance.
As well as we want to thank Zach Clayton with the PAC channel for also streaming our shows on his platform.
Yes, okay. Zach from PAC channel, PACT channel.
There you go.
Everybody have a great week. Stay healthy, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks.
All right, way to go. Thank you, Mr. Rao.
Recording stopped.